first ever Facebook Live. My name is Vanessa Beasy. I am the Scientific Director of the Wildlife Conservation Association, and we will get started in just a few minutes with a tutorial of the iNaturalist website and application. So if you are already with us, please make sure that you have your phone or web browser ready. If you haven't already, you can download the iNaturalist app on your phone, or you can log in at iNaturalist.org. Be sure to create a username. I'm going to send a poll out now to get a little bit of a feel for how many of you have already done this. And while we wait, you can go ahead and ask questions if you'd like in the comments. All right. Let's see. So I'm sending the polls out now. Great. We will wait just a few more minutes before we get started. I can see that we have at least 3 people with us. Welcome, everyone. We are calling live today from Costa Rica. I am in Playa Pilata near the Ocional National Wildlife Refuge. If anyone wants to comment where they are, I'd love to find out where you're joining us from. All right, well, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. I can see that someone already has an iNaturalist username. Hopefully everyone came prepared and has their phone or web browser ready to upload our first observation to iNaturalist. But before we get started, I wanted to take a minute to introduce myself. My name is Vanessa Beasy. I am primarily a sea turtle biologist, but also a wildlife conservationist and founder of the Wildlife Conservation Association, which is a new small nonprofit grassroots organization that is dedicated to inspiring sustainable living through research, community engagement, and immersive educational experiences. And today I'm sharing with you the iNaturalist app as one of our science technology tools that is really contributing a lot to scientific research on biodiversity all around the world. The Wildlife Conservation Association just launched our Nosara Biodiversity Project, which is a large-scale study of the biodiversity in the Ocional National Wildlife Refuge and the Nosara Buffer Zone. We are conducting this study in partnership with the Nosara Civic Association, primarily establishing camera trap monitoring within NCA parklands, but also we are promoting the use of the iNaturalist app in the community to help us crowdsource scientific data collection. This is not meant to encourage everyone to go outside and form large groups at this time, but instead share time with your family members and look at the biodiversity right in your garden on your terrace when you go out for a walk with the dog, or even just what you can see from your windows. No matter where you are in the world, it's likely that you'll get to see a lot more species than you would expect just outside your window. So with that, I'm going to introduce a little bit more what iNaturalist is and why it's important that you contribute your observations if you are making observations, especially if you're already taking a lot of photos of wildlife. It's a really easy way to put those photos and information to good use. So iNaturalist is a citizen science project established by the California Academy of Sciences, and it's basically an online social network of naturalists, citizen scientists, and biologists. And it's basically, the concept is to create maps and share observations of biodiversity across the globe. So no matter where you are in the world, you can join iNaturalist and submit those observations. And these observations, especially once they reach something we call research grade, they get verified by other users in this community, and this data can then actually be used for scientific studies. So depending where you are in the world, when you submit an observation, it might actually directly be contributing to some different type of study. Here in the Nosara area, if you post any observation within the wildlife refuge and the buffer zone, it will be added to the Nosara Biodiversity Project automatically. So before we start, I'm going to double check the poll again and make sure we have people that have downloaded the app. We're going to go through 2 different ways to use the app. You can actually use the app on your phone, or you can use all of iNaturalist entirely on a web browser if you prefer not to use your phone. There are pluses and minuses to both sides, so I'm going to show you through both. One of my favorite options, if you take your phone out and open the iNaturalist app, or you can log in at iNaturalist.org. So at iNaturalist.org, I'll share the phone first, and then I'll do the web. On your phone, when you click Explore, you will see a map of the area. You can zoom in and out, and all of the points that you see are observations that someone has submitted before. You can click any of those points, and when you click the point, you'll see the username, the date, and a photo of what this person saw and the identification for it. So this is a little slow, but here I see a white-nosed coati that was observed. You can see the scientific name, and you can even look at the different comments and identifications that people have suggested. This Explore feature is also on the web browser, and I won't go to the web browser quite yet. I'll do most of that separate. But on the web browser, you can also explore. You can go from a map view to a list view. It's a really cool way to see what other people are seeing in the area. The next type of tab that we have on the app, it might look differently for you if you're on an Android, is the activity. The activity is basically any comments that have been made on observations that you've done. And it'll also show all of your observations. One of my favorite features is that you can have what's called a life list of all the different species you've observed. And this is similar on the web. On the web, there's a tab that says Your Observations, and that's where you can get all of the content. Once you log in with your username, you'll also see a dashboard that has a really nice visual of all of the different observations you've contributed and observations nearby. So the next step is to submit an observation. So if you have your phone, hopefully you have a photo that you've taken recently, or maybe even an old photo. If you take your photo from your phone, it's easier to submit it on the app. On the web, you can download photos even from a DSLR camera. So on your phone, go ahead and get your phone out, and I'm going to post a photo that I recently took of a really cool bug that we found in the house. So I have no idea what this insect is, but I thought it was really cool. So you'll add the photo and then click Next. Immediately, if you took the photo from your phone, all of the information, your location, as long as your privacy settings are set that way, the date and time that you took that photo will automatically get added. Next, it'll say, what did you see? View suggestions. Now, iNaturalist is surprisingly good at giving suggestions of what you've taken a photo of. My internet is a little slow, but usually, oh, here it is. So as soon as it pulls up, you can't see my screen, but your photo, iNaturalist will say, I think this is this. So mine tells me it looks like a stink bug from the super family, Pentalomoidea. So you can click that, or if you're more familiar with the species, you can enter the name that you think it is or scroll down for other suggestions. Since I'm not sure what this bug is, I'm going to pick a higher up family and hope that other users can help me identify which bug it is from this family. And when you're done with that, you can add notes to your observations. You can change the geoprivacy if you're concerned about privacy issues with the location. You can also identify whether it's captive or cultivated if you've witnessed an animal that's in captivity. And then all you have to do is hit share. As soon as you share your observations, they become available in this network of naturalists, and people from all over the globe can help identify your species. This is an amazing feature of iNaturalist. I, for some reason, have been posting a lot of insects lately, and I don't know much about insects at all. And I've had entomologists from all over the world commenting and telling me, well, you should have taken it from a different angle. So it's been very interesting to learn about other species and find out from other people. So I encourage you to engage with the online community, help identify other users, and contribute in that way. So really quickly, I'm going to show you the web browser version so that you can see what it's like to download videos onto the web browser, which I find actually very nice when I go out with, say, a nicer camera. We'll go on the trail, take photos, and then I can upload them from my DSLR camera straight onto the website, all in one batch. So really quick, I'm going to share my screen with you. All right. Okay, so on the main screen, you'll see kind of your user dashboard once you've logged in with your username. And there's two different places where you can add an observation, here in this corner, and then up here in the corner all the way. So what you'll do is you'll just click Add Observation. And when you do that, it opens to a screen where you can drag and drop photos, or you can go to the computer's upload option. Again, my internet is a little slow. See if we can get it to upload. There it is. So I'm going to pick some files that I have on my desktop. Let's see. A batch from April 9th of photos. There they are. So all of these images here are from April 9th. Drag and drop them, and then all of your observations will appear. These were a huge group of trogons that came in one morning. There were about 6 different individuals singing, so we got photos of all of them. I don't have a nice camera with a really nice lens, but we're able to get generally good pictures and zoom in on them. Immediately, iNaturalist is going to start loading what they think this bird is, and you can see that in this picture, even though it's perhaps not the closest picture, it already identifies that this might be a trogon. So here you can specify specifically, I know this was a black-headed trogon. So you'll see that iNaturalist will slowly start recognizing what these birds are. In some cases, you don't even need to identify it yourself. What I really like about this feature is that I know all of these photos were taken in the same place. So you can highlight all of these and edit the location simultaneously. In my case, I've already pinned our home, and this is a small radius around my house, so I know this observation was made here, all of these actually, and I can click Update Observation, and the location will get changed on all of them. These pictures also all happen to be taken at the same time, so I can do the same for the date. If you have any pictures that are taken with a camera, the metadata will automatically have the date, and you may also have the GPS location on there, and you can choose what privacy settings you want. For any species that is protected, that location automatically gets obscured, and you can also always create kind of a bigger radius around the area where you observed it. In most cases, the exact GPS location is not what we're concerned about. We really want to get an overall idea of what biodiversity is here. So when you're done entering all of this information, all you have to click is Submit, and you're finished. Now let me check in with everyone and see if you have any questions. I'm always happy to answer if you add a comment. And before I move on, I also wanted to stress the importance of this community also for helping each other identify. I've recently become a birder. Since being in quarantine, we've started going out on the trails, and I've learned so much about birds with the identification books we have, but have gotten a lot of help from birders in the online community. So once you become more and more familiar with the species that you see near you, you can go on the app and also on the website and spend your time identifying other people's observations. This can be really fun if there's observations near you, especially if they're friends. And in some cases, having a project is a bit of healthy competition. So I'm going to share with you the link to our project page in the comments section. And if you go to the project page here in Nosara, you'll already see all of the observations to date within this area. If you join our project, or even if you just submit observations, they'll get ranked. And right now we have ranks for the most observations, the most species, and then we also have a list of the most commonly seen species, which is great so that you know already how to identify the top 10 species that you're most likely to see. I am going to keep checking to see if there are any questions. I'm going to send out a poll to find out whether this is helpful for you. If you have any other questions, please send them in the comments. Let's see. So I'm going to ask one question: how helpful was the webinar, and how likely are you to post to iNaturalist? And while we're waiting for everyone to chime in, I just wanted to share our project page with you. It's really exciting to already see that there are so many observations in the area. All right, so this is our project page. You'll see a brief definition of the project and what we're doing, and then an overview. So far, we have over 1,000 observations in this area of almost 400 species, with almost the same amount of number of people helping identify those species. And these were reported by 136 different people. Here on the top, you'll see all of the recent observations of all of those trogons that we just posted. And then here is the rank that I was talking about. You'll see the most observations, the most species, and the most observed, which is not surprisingly the black iguana. And then at the end here, we have a summary of the stats. And this is something that I wanted to discuss really quickly. What is research grade observation? So when you make an observation, if you have no idea what you're identifying, slowly other users will come in and suggest an identification that you can agree with or disagree with. As these suggestions build, if there's enough agreement amongst different users, your photo identification becomes a research grade data point, which tells us that for scientific research, that data is reliable. The rest of the observations that say needs ID means that you need other people's input to bring that data to research grade. And this is where it's really important to help other people identify what you see. In most cases, there's such a big community that a lot of the observations will automatically become research grade, given that your photo is good enough quality that it can be identified. And then this is at the end of the page. You'll see a map of the area that we are studying and all of the observations that have been made. So hopefully this is going to be a great tool for you to start exploring what kind of biodiversity is in the area, what biodiversity is around your home, and start getting a record of this so that we can use this in our final product. So I wanted to mention before we finish that the Nosara Biodiversity Project's study, our resulting output will be an interactive online web map that will show all of this biodiversity on a map next to the development to help us understand how animals are moving and interacting with human development and how we can better mitigate the impact of development on biodiversity. So I don't see any questions. Please feel free to reach out afterwards if you had any more questions. And yeah, thank you for joining, and I'll finish the live now, I guess. Have a great day.